alcohol was first coined by Arabs. There is no surprise, right? They love to drink. They enjoyed alcohol. They had varieties of alcohol. Alcohol was in their veins all the time. In fact, if you read if you Google it, there are like hundreds of articles about the word alcohol, they call it alcohol, and how they came to that, and what the history behind it. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but I thought it was interesting just to bring that term so that you guys know that this term was coined by Arabs. Now let's see what Quran and Hadith say about alcohol. So I picked two ayah from Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the first one I got from Surah Ma'idah, chapter 5 and verse number 90, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, intoxicants and gambling and sacrificing on stone altars and the binding of arrows are nothing but handiwork of Satan. So abstain from it so that you will be successful. There is another verse of Quran in chapter 2, Surah Baqarah, verse number 219, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they ask you about wine and gambling. Say, in them is great sin and yet some benefit. It's not entirely a problem, but there is some benefit. But it's a great sin, some benefit, but sin is greater than their benefit. So those are the two verses. I really want you to pay attention to these two verses because I'm going to connect these dots by the end of my lecture. What the research tells us today. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that there is some benefit but more loss, and He's saying it is a handiwork of Satan, so abstain from it. So that's the two messages from those two verses of Quran. And then if you look at the hadith, Prophet ﷺ said, it's a hadith of Mazhar, he said, this is mother of all the evils, Ummul Khaba'is. All right, so let's go to the stats. I really love the numbers. I really love the numbers, and in my field, numbers matter a lot. But for everything, there is a criteria. So if you look at the stats about alcohol, there was a 2015 survey where they said there are at least 15 million people 18 years of age and up who have alcohol problem. And even in adolescents, I mean, think about 12 to 17 years of age, 623,000 kids have alcohol problem. I'm not talking about alcohol use. I'm talking about alcohol problem. There is a difference. We are not going to go into the details of that, but it is problematic drinking where it is causing significant, serious problem in these kids' life. And it costed our country, this is 10-year-old, okay, $250 billion, billion with B, it's not millions. And you can look at there are 183 countries in the world. More than 100 countries in the world don't even have a budget of $250 billion a year. All right, now WHO, they have their own stats too. And they said alcohol causes at least 200 different diseases. 200. I've been studying medicine for the last 20 years. I have not come across any other disease, one single factor that can cause 200 diseases. This is not something that the Islamic organization is saying. WHO, 200 diseases. You name it, you get it. Okay. Alcohol in colleges. All right, so 2015 survey, says 60% of college students said that they drank last month. 60% of all the students who go to college. All right? And 20% of all the college students have serious alcohol problem. That means they cannot perform anymore. 20%. That's 1 in 5. 1 in 5 have serious alcohol problem. 1 in 4 have academic problems. Means they get on, their grades fall, they are on probation, they eventually get expelled. And now this gets more intense. 700,000 between ages of 18 and 24 years of age every year, they get assaulted by someone who was under the influence of alcohol. All right, and close to 100,000, 97,000 to be specific, students, they get sexually assaulted or raped by someone who was either intoxicated or they themselves, the victim, was also intoxicated. And I've been doing psychiatry for 14, 15 years now. And I have heard hundreds of stories of these men and women getting assaulted under the influence of alcohol. And do you think they would stop drinking? Unfortunately not. So, and close to 2,000 students every year die of unintentional injuries related to alcohol, either motor vehicle accident. And I know personally 2 family friends, their young children got hit by someone who was under the influence of alcohol and they died. Young men, 2 young men were killed by someone who was under the influence of alcohol. He was driving in the wrong direction, killed them head on. Research into alcohol use. So there is a lot of research, obviously, right? The United States is a country where most of the research happens in the world. And they like to research, which is a great thing. Because Quran invites us to ponder upon things, do research and investigate and try to know the facts. Quran doesn't believe in theory, Quran believes in facts. So what they are saying, the initial start of alcohol is usually because of 3 reasons why a person would try. The number 1 is availability. It has to be available. If you don't have the alcohol, where's the question of trying it, getting drunk or hitting someone or getting, diseases like cancer or stroke or heart attacks and dementia and so on, right? So availability, acceptability. It has to be acceptable in the society. It should be considered as normal. Hey, you are 21, you don't drink. What's wrong with you? Come on, dude, how would you enjoy it? What's life? I mean, that's boring. And the third thing is peer pressure. If everybody is drinking, you'll be an outcast if you don't drink. But how are you going to, mix up with everybody else? That's the age you want to be part of the group. I don't know how many more minutes I have. I'll try to be fast here. Fine. Now, after all the research and all the treatments, being a psychiatrist, almost every day I see someone who has a substance abuse problem, be it alcohol, opioids, cocaine, methamphetamine, acid, LSD, PCP, name it, right? I see some or the other problem. And these patients get put on some medications. There are some treatments for alcohol. There are a variety of medications. And I know none of these medications keep them sober and clean long enough. None of them. I've been doing this for 15 years now. They stay sober for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. They are like so proud of themselves, like, oh my God, I made it for 4 months. But guess what? Eventually the wagon. But there is one treatment. Now here it gets interesting, and that's what I was telling you initially, that I'm going to connect these dots. I want you to pay attention to this slide. This is perhaps the most important slide of all the ones that you saw so far, except the one that you saw initially, the one that the Quran and Hadith was quoted. This is the second most important slide. Here it says Alcoholic Anonymous. Has anybody heard of this group? Alcoholic Anonymous? Awesome. So yeah, at least 2 people have heard. So it is a self-help group for people who have alcohol problem. And the central theme of this is believing in higher power. So if you don't believe in higher power, they don't even allow you to come in because you're not going to benefit from this. And believe it or not, I have met people personally who are part of this AA, Alcoholic Anonymous, and have sustained their sobriety for 25, 35, 40 years. Now you may be wondering, like, why are you telling this? Well, because the only way they can get rid of alcohol is they submit to God. That's what they have to say when they go there. I am powerless. I cannot control this addiction. And oh God, I submit to you. What is the meaning of submission to God? Muslim, right? The one who submits to God is a Muslim. So if you don't say you're submitting to God, then you don't even become part of the AA. So I take you back to the second slide where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that it is the handiwork of Shaitan. Abstain from it if you want to be successful. And the only way you can be successful is if you submit to God and tell God, like, oh God, I am helpless. You are the only one who can make me strong enough that I can resist this temptation to go back to this problem. And they are able to stay clean because they have some concept of God. There's some higher power who can, save their life. So what's your conclusion now? You think it's still a disease? So I think if it is a disease, it should be treated like diabetes and hypertension and asthma, and it should be able to be cured with the medication, but you cannot. So, and if it is a disease, it is the only disease that is sold in bottles. It is the only disease that you get licensed to sell. And it is the only disease that you go and buy in the store. Thank you so much.